Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Friday, May 30th, last trading day of May. And next week we're in June, last month of the quarter, and then we're gonna wrap up second quarter. So yeah, time is flying. We're almost halfway through the year. So far this overnight, we're looking at a pretty calm action. Right now, it's not happening something. It's pretty calm action right now, or it has been at least in the overnight. And we're looking at the news this morning being the PCE index. Something's happening. Look at that. Big reaction. Right when I start talking, the big reactions start kicking in. So I say, yes, start saying something. It was a pretty calm overnight, then you see this. Isn't that typical? Anyway, but so far up till now, it's been pretty calm. So the news this morning, we have international trade, we have personal income and outlays, retail and wholesale inventories, and that personal income number is the one to watch. That's where you get your PCE index, that's your inflation read, and that could create a reaction. Right now, I'm not sure what the market is reacting to. Some kind of headline came out, or some Truth Social post or something. But it's the personal income and outlays numbers, including that PCE index, I think is the big one for this morning. 9:45 we get Chicago PMI. 10 o'clock we get consumer sentiment. And then we have a speaker at 12:20, and that's about it. So I think the biggest news comes at 8:30, and then we'll see how the market reacts to it. And something is happening because we have a big reaction going on right now. And I would just start off this whole thing with an overnight. It's pretty much holding in that range right now. We had that big reaction. We'll find out shortly what that is all about. But I would start off range bound. We are trading in the middle of this big range, around about this 59.05 attractor, big volume area right there, tractor area. But after that, the pullback from yesterday's little euphoria that they thought the tariffs were going to be gone, but they were not, and now they're back down. And now they're back on again. So everything is as it was, and the market right back in this value area. So we'll see what happens and what's going on with this little reaction here this morning. Definitely something going on. And as I said, I'm going to start off flat out range bound, looking to buy weakness down to that 58.10 to 58.30 support area. That's your lower edge. The upper area is 59.80 to 90. And basically, we are sitting here waiting for a move out of the middle, either up or down. So interesting. We are pretty darn close to the upper to the all-time high. So I mean, it doesn't take much. If we get a couple of trade deals announced, I think we may have a good shot at moving this. But right now it's anyone's guess where they're going to go. And as you saw, this a reaction we're just getting now is all about volatilities. I mean, some headline comes out, the market reacts like that, and suddenly have a massive news reaction coming out of nowhere. So you had to always be on top of that. Sometimes, if you're on the wrong side of a trade and don't have your stop in, you'll be run over a day like this, or any kind of event like this. But starting off range bound, looking to fade the edges in the bigger picture. You can see where we are at. So at this point, looking to be, I mean, before this move, I was looking at buying against the support areas all the way down here to that 58.80s. I would say below 58.80s, I would start looking for a move to the downside, and above and the same thing on the way up, looking to get short against at this point, it's going to be these areas, the 59.10s, 59.20s, 59.30s, up to the 59.40s for rotations down. So above 59.40s, start leaning in on the long side. Below that 58.80s, start leaning in on the short side. That's the analysis I had planned for this morning. Right now, they already run down here, run over 58.80s, and we may have to start thinking about this on the short side, right? Depending on how this whole thing develops, if this is a one-off reaction, or we're going to see some continuation to the downside. So look at that big move. I don't know. I started talking. It started doing something, and man, it's like, and I know I had that power over the markets. That's so funny. Yes, especially when you start by saying the overnight has been pretty calm and range bound, and suddenly the whole thing just takes off like that. Oh man, it sounds like it's a Friday, right? Last trading day of May though, so I want to say you can expect some cross currents just because of some maybe rebalancing stuff going on. But anyway, so we'll see if this is a one-off, we'll see this one retrace right back up again. If it's just a new headline reaction, if there's something changed fundamentally and a piece of news, then we may see a continuation. We'll see how that goes. But this is like a newsday reaction. So at this point, you're looking for this balance bar to form. If it forms, then you can look for a potential direction it takes after the last inside bar is formed, and then you know where you're going to go from there. At least that would be the trade. I don't usually try to trade those because this is so volatile, so you never know when the algo knocks. Yes, just due to volatility, you can get shaken out of a trade like this. So I don't try to trade those until it calms down or you start seeing some sort of direction developing. So that's the ES to get started, Nasdaq and the bonds. Bond market not reacting, as you can see, that's not doing anything, so that's okay. That means that it's nothing crazy in terms of that's the headline piece of news. If the bond market moves, yeah, be concerned. So at this point, starting off range bound on the bond market. In the bigger picture there, we have the let me see, it's my bond capital flow chart. We are back up here and moving higher into this range. So we are above the 1216, heading back up towards the 130, 114s. I'm thinking starting this off with a slight bias to the upside. See if they can take out this 113.04s. Maybe it retraces a little bit to the upside. So initially I'm looking to buy against the 24s and the 1617s, but not more than that. Below 1617s, we are back range bound. And if it starts trading below the 1210, and start thinking about the short side again. So fairly aggressive shift on the bonds if they start taking this lower. And the Nasdaq, big reaction as well. It looks like they're going to retrace this the way it looks right now. So the balance bar is formed. They're looking at it. They're starting to trace and start retracing. Now, this would be the time you get in, but you can see how much trade location you had to give up. So, and that it's kind of avoid trading it like that. The other way to trade something like that is when it starts doing it, look to get in on a pullback into this prior bar. But it's just a lot of range and not easy to trade a dynamic like this. So, but it looks to me like they're going to start retracing this back to the mean at least. But looking at the cap of the bigger picture on the Nasdaq, and you can see after this big pop to the upside, we are pretty much right smack in this area of value again, going sideways. So we're starting off technically as range bound. If this starts trading below this area, the 20,950 up to the 21,000, then I would start thinking about the short side in a bigger way. At this point, just fading the edges back to that mean. So on the way up, looking to get short up to that 550s. So looking for short setups against starting a little bit earlier here at the 370s, 410s, 430s, 480s, 520s up to the 550s. So these areas, all of them looking to get short against any of them, which looks like they're going to hold. And on the way down, they're going to buy against, I was going to say these levels now, it's the 270, those are 280s, 230s, 190s, 170s, down to the 130s for rotations back up. And as you start getting down here, you start running into better support. At the 21,000 is a bit below the chart here. That's when you start worrying about the short side in a bigger way. But you can see that big 5-letter edge, and it starts tapering off there. You have this age period print right there. If that comes out down there, that's when you had to worry about the potential short side taking over here. So that was a probe down here. Support at around 21,000 here, and then all the way down to that 950 potential support area. So if that comes out and they start taking that out, then I would be on the short side in a much bigger way. We're starting off range bound. Let's see what's going on here in this crazy world we live in, right? So on the way down, looking to buy against the 280s, 230s, sorry, 240s, 190 to 200s, 160 to 170, 130, 130s here for rotations back up. And below the 130s, I would just stay on the short side, see how far they can take it. But that would be a pretty good move to the downside if that starts happening. So um, giving the Nasdaq a little bit more room because it's so volatile. But uh, look at that. So now they're retracing. So a big headline of some headline news reaction retracing right now. So, but this is scary stuff. I mean, it comes out of nowhere, and it's just a headline, and you just have to be on top of it. So if you're on the wrong side, make sure you have your stop in the market and don't start moving it when things start moving like that. You'll know when things start moving like that. You start seeing the market whipping back and forth a bit before the big move happens. And then finally, oil and gold. So gold moving a bit, but they're pretty darn range bound. So gold right now in the bigger picture, we moved to the August gold. And you can see gold is pretty much in the middle here, so not much happening on gold. Just fade the edges above that 350, 33.55s. Step back on the long side. Below that 39, 32, sorry, 32.80 to 90s. Be back on the short side. So in this, we are pretty much building value here in this range. So above, so look to buy weakness down to that 32.80s. Look to sell strength up to 33.50s. Rotations back to the mean. That's kind of the dynamic right now. So gold right now moving a little bit back and forth as they come up here. Short setups again, 33.25s, 33s, 47s, 55s for rotations back down. Yesterday you saw they ran it hard to the upside and absolutely run on the gas at the 33.55 level, and then completely fell apart in the overnight. So yes, they look at this as a range-bound market trading around that 33.20 right now. So let's fade the edges back to the main on gold. And then oil, big move on oil. So something happened. They were up here for a bit. Basically range-bound trading. At this point, they've definitely taken a leg lower. And watch them take, if they take out that 60-20, so I would stay on the short side and see maybe this is the start of some kind of a move to the downside. Let's see if yeah, so you can see on oil, until they start taking out the 58s, we're going to still be in this trading range. So I wouldn't be looking to buy weakness all the way down to that 58. Just a little bit of caution, and they start taking out the 60, 20s here. Look for potential moves to the downside. So stay on the short side, but still look to buy against these 59.50s, 30s, 58.90s, 58.60s. All these support areas potentially could still hold. So they were there for a reason, and they can still be valid as they come down there again. But if they take out the 60-20s, I would stay on the short side and see how far they can take it. So let's see how that develops. But we got a big move on oil. They were grinding higher in the overnight, and then boom, down. And gold moving. ES and Nasdaq moving. So let's see what headline comes out here. China trade talk comments. Okay, got you. China trade talk comments. Yeah, it was a Trump comment. Amazing how the market reacts to that stuff, right? They still haven't figured out that it is a negotiation. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, all right. Oh, never a dull moment, but that's in the negotiations. The market hasn't quite figured out that the hyperbole and the negotiation and the publicness of it is just that. And it's just you have to take things with a grain of salt and then see what actually happens. But the headline reactions, the algos, are not doing anyone any favors, that's for sure. So anyway, we'll see how this develops. But in about 7 minutes, we get the PCE number. Let's see how that goes. It's going to be more volatility on that one. So maybe it's going to be one of those interesting Fridays, right? But anyway, so I'm going to wrap it there. So good trading, guys. And and let's see how this whole thing develops. No more Mr. Nice Guy, right? All right. Let's see how this whole thing goes. All right, guys. See you back at 11:30 for the next update. Good trading.